Howdy, folks. Greyhawk404 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and it is a Thursday night gaming chat live. Once again, we must say cheers. First beer of the day, and it is hitting the spot. So, I'm going to assume the one there that just popped in is going to be Chupa. Let's see if I'm right. So I got a couple things to talk about today. I'm going to try to make this a short live because I had something unexpected happen today. Most of you guys know that we have our big marathon session where we play Friday and Saturday for a total of about somewhere in the neighborhood of about 15, 16 hours between Friday night and Saturday. And so I've been gearing up for that. Got all the snacks and everything over there, and we have a fireplace down here. I have an actual gas fireplace down here, nice one. And for whatever reason, the pilot light won't light. So that's kind of a problem because we face that wall that the fireplace on faces the north, which is where the wind comes from whenever there's a winter storm. And without the pilot going, it just blows cold air in here. So I had it scheduled for the 16th was when the company said they could come out and work on it. They called me today in the afternoon, like at 4 o'clock, and said, "Hey, can we come tomorrow? We got an opening. We can come tomorrow." And I was like, because I want to get it fixed. I was like, yeah. So instead of having tomorrow to prep, because I usually have all day Friday before we start to prep, that's going to be hindered because I got this company coming to work on the fireplace. So as a result, I want to cut this live short. I'm only going to do about half an hour, I think, tonight, because I got to spend some time with the wife, and I got to start doing some reading for the game and some other things. So yeah, I'm a retired guy, but for some reason I'm busier than I was when I was working. So who knows? I guess I should move the mic over here. Let's see. I hope you guys were able to hear me still. So you guys will have to let me know if that was if all that was wasted and you guys didn't hear any of that because I didn't have the mic up right by me. So there's nobody in here right now, but on replay, you guys can put comments down below. I guess I can go back. I'll go back and watch it on replay too. And of course, I can't always go by this count thing here because a lot of times it'll show 0 and there's actually somebody in here. So we'll have to wait and see. So until somebody pops in, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy my beer. And I do have a couple other things to go over quick. There's something that came up news-wise in the tabletop role-playing game world that we need to talk about. So alrighty. Yeah, I started a little early, so I'm not surprised that there's no one in here yet, but we have a winter weather advisory going right now here. So, and I can confirm that because I shoveled the driveway twice today and put salt down twice. So yeah, for some reason I'm busier than I was when I was working, even though I'm retired now. I think it's because I'm trying to do all this YouTube stuff, and I'm trying to game, and I'm trying to do all of the chores around the house so my wife doesn't have to do them now that she's the only one working. So I'm trying to do all that, and then any maintenance stuff around here, except for fireplaces. I don't work on shit with natural gas. That's I call it professional because I don't necessarily want to blow myself up. So, but other than that, maintenance wise stuff, I try to do everything around the house. So Okay, so we have a one again. We had somebody in earlier. Now we have two. We have a thumbs up, so somebody's definitely in here now. So yeah, I started a little bit early, so that's my fault. Hey, Colin, how are you? So we got two thumbs up with only one person in it, and there's Bastille. So that count thing is definitely screwed up. How's it going, Bastille? Yeah, we got some stuff. We got some stuff to talk about. We'll do it real quick. I don't know if I think one or both of you guys might be vintage gamers from like with the tabletop role playing stuff with like D&D and stuff like that. And I don't know if you guys are following the whole thing with TSR 3. Oh wow. Um, that's right. Colin, you're over in is it Scotland you're in? Uh, if I remember correctly. Um, oh, Bastille, man. I am sorry, man. What was the dog's name? If you don't mind me asking, what was the dog's name? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a toast to your buddy. Yeah, I'm watching. So, Colin, I don't know if you've been watching the latest series of Sir Isaac. So, to the loyal Sir Isaac, whose loyalty was never in question, a hearty cheers and rest in peace and safe travels, Mr. Sir Isaac. Yeah, I'm a dog lover. I'm an animal lover, but yeah, that's rough. Um, so Colin, yeah, Shetland, at least for us, the new season is here now. It might have been out for a while for you guys. I think it's season 6. And it's only coming out like one a week. And so my wife and I, we are like Shetland junkies, and it comes out I think on Tuesdays, and yeah, so may Sir Isaac keep the hearth warm until you enjoin him. Yep, absolutely. Um, so yeah, let's talk about real quick. So I don't know if you guys are following the whole drama with TSR. So to get you caught up real quick. Oh, you've never seen Shetland? I thought you were when we talked about. I thought for some reason that you had chimed in and said that it was um, because it's set in the Shetland Islands. That that's part of, as far as I know, that's part of Scotland. So I thought maybe you had seen it for sure, but that's my bad. So I don't know if you guys are keeping up with the TSR drama. So TSR, this TSR right here, as you guys know, that TSR right there made the original Dungeons and Dragons. They created it, made it, produced it for years and years. Then they were bought out by Wizards of the Coast. Then, at one point, Wizards of the Coast let the TSR name, the trademark, they let it go vacant. They didn't renew the trademark or whatever. And so Jason Elliott bought the trade, or he created he grabbed the trademark and did the paperwork and all that stuff. And then under that name, we produced Top Secret New World Order. And as you can see, I've never opened my copy because I still have the prototype. So if I decide to play, I just play off the prototype copy. And that way I can keep this one sealed. But anyway, so we produced this. We even had the TSR logo, which is where's a good shot of it here? So we had we had a redesigned TSR there. And so when it came to producing that, Jason went to Wizards of the Coast ahead of time and said, "Hey, look, you guys let the trademark lapse." He picked it up. He says, that he picked it up and that he wanted to do this project using the new founded trademark under this new company that he was forming. And they said, you know what? We're not doing anything with that license, with that IP. No problem. Go ahead and and they basically gave their blessing and said, yeah, if you want to make a top secret game, go ahead and make a top secret. Even though they technically could have given him shit because top secret, the IP would still fall under them because they would still own it, right? Because that was produced under the original TSR. But they said, no, go ahead, because he was upfront about it. He was professional about it. He went to them and said, hey, here's what I want to do, and they were okay with it. Now, another gentleman by the name of Mark Hunt, he did the same thing with Wizards of the Coast about gangbusters. This is the gangbusters that TSR did. If you go on DriveThruRPG, you will see that there's a gangbusters that came out under the name of Mark Hunt. He, as the author, gangbusters BX, B/X. He did the same thing. He went to them because that was produced by TSR. So technically this IP would be Wizards of the Coast. So Mark went to them. Same thing. He went through the right channels. He said, here's what I want to do. They said, we're not using it. Knock yourself out, whatever. So there's two specific instances where Wizards of the Coast was reasonable in their approach with other developers and stuff. Okay? Now, Jason at some point, who had this TSR, he also let the trademark lapse at some point. And I think he was already thinking about changing the name and changing the company because he just wanted to get away from that whole thing, having any tie-in where there'd be any legal issues or whatever. So I think that's probably why he let it lapse. But regardless, and I had a conversation with him last night about a lot of this stuff, but I won't, anything that he and I talked about, I'm not going to repeat because he didn't give me any permission to talk about. So the stuff I am talking about is stuff that I know from when I was with TSR2. We'll call this TSR2. So if you've noticed, yesterday or the day before, TSR3, which is the guy who picked up the trademark that Jason let lapse, TSR3, they are suing Wizards of the Coast, if you can believe that, because they're saying that Wizards of the Coast is bullying them about using, because I think they want to produce Star Frontiers, which is another IP that's owned by the original TSR, etc., which is now owned by Wizards of the Coast because they bought TSR. And he is now suing Wizards of the Coast. TSR3 is suing Wizards of the Coast. And there's they did a they even have a crowdfunding. Of course they have a crowdfunding thing going. They have a crowdfunding thing on Indiegogo. They're trying to raise $50,000. It says support TSR against Wizards of the Coast. So here's what I want to say about this. He has a statement that I take extreme exception with. And that's the reason I'm talking about this on this live. He said, see if I can find it here. Where does he put it here? He has a statement on the Indiegogo page, and I'm going to read it verbatim. It says, Wizards of the Coast has continually bullied TSR regarding TSR's legally owned trademarks. Now, if he's specifically talking about his TSR3, I can't speak to that, about whether or not that's occurred or not occurred or whatever. All I can say is that, correct, TSR3 are the ones making Giant Lands. That is correct. Well, actually, I think that is somebody that was with him. This is Lanasa. Lanasa is the guy that owns TSR3. He had, I think, a partner that split away when things started going sideways with TSR3. That partner, I believe, split away and started a company called Wonderfilled. Wonderfilled is the ones making Giant Lands. So actually, TSR3 are not making Giant Lands. Somebody that was associated with TSR3 broke away, started Wonderfilled, and Wonderfilled is making Giant Lands. I believe that's how things are going. But Lanasa, the guy's last name is Lanasa, he's the one who is doing this thing where he's suing Wizards of the Coast. All I can say is from my experience, I have 2 examples right fucking here of 2 IPs. Wizards of the Coast has every right to could have told us, nope, you can't make a top secret game. Nope, you can't make a gangbusters game, Mark Hunt. There's 2. This one is the one we made. I don't have Mark's, but as a result of this whole bullshit, I'm going to go on to Drive Through RPG and I'm going to order Mark's version of Gangbusters. You can bet your ass. I've met Mark. Mark's a nice guy. So there's 2 examples of where Wizards of the Coast was completely reasonable. So I'm going to say again, I don't know for 100% fact, but I'm saying, given the evidence, giving the history, I would say if this Lanasa gentleman had approached them properly and said, here's what I want to do, here's what I've done, I now have the TSR trademark. If he went to them and said, I have the TSR trademark because Jason let it lapse, I want to work on a Star Frontiers thing or whatever, perhaps they would have been reasonable, just like they were with these other projects. And it would have also been perfectly reasonable for them to tell him to go pound sand, because maybe they're deciding, maybe Wizards is working on a Star Frontiers project. And then they would tell him to go pound sand and say, no, you can't put out a Star Frontiers product because we're working on a Star Frontiers product. They weren't working on a top secret product. Top secret, the game, not as in top secret, as in, a secret project. Or a gangbusters product. So they had no problem with that. Perhaps they're working on a Star, which is their right. That's their stuff. But instead, he's going to go on here and do this Indiegogo thing. And if you go on to any of the, like 10 Cars Tavern, I don't know if you guys are familiar with 10 Cars, but he has a blog that is probably the blog for tabletop role-playing game, like old school role-playing stuff and everything. If you go on and look at all the comments there, everybody is saying the same thing. They're all saying, their opinions are, this is a cash grab to get some cash for TSR3, just like for them to use this $50,000 or whatever. Who knows if they're actually going to use it to in this lawsuit? Who knows what they're going to do with it? But the bottom line is, because I think with like Indiegogo, with a Kickstarter or whatever, there's no guarantees, right? You give your money. I'm out $500 on some Kickstarters that never fulfilled. So anyway, I just wanted to give I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not I have nothing to do with Wizards, and TSR3 is completely separate from anything that I did with Jason. And Jason has completely, his company is now called Solarian Games. It's now Solarian. It's no longer, so he doesn't have anything to do with it either. So again, we don't have a dog in the fight, but I just wanted to give all the history so that y'all can make up an educated decision on whether or not you decide which side of the fence you decide to go on, or neither side, or if you're just going to sit back like me and just watch everything. I just wanted to basically do this as kind of a public service thing to say, here's what I know, and here's the history that I know. So there you go. Okay. Any questions on any of that? Other than the one that was already asked about the Giant Lands? Yeah, the company that's making that is called Wonderfilled, I believe. And I'm going to look it up right now. Wonderfilled Games right here. Okay. Yes, Giant Lands first edition box set, limited edition, back ordered. So now, if I remember, yeah, that's the one that Jim Ward was working on. I don't know if it's done, or it says back order, but that may be. No, it looks like it was. Oh, it says this is a pre-order. Okay. So I guess it's not out yet. But anyway, so there's as far as I know, that's the chain of how everything went. So you had the original TSR, then you had TSR2, which was us, with Top Secret New World Order. Then you had TSR3, which is the one that Lanasa's running. And then I think somebody split off from that and started Wonderfilled. And they're the ones producing Giant Lands. I hope that clears all that up. And then separately, you have Mr. Mark Hunt who produced the new version of this, of Gangbusters, which is available on our Drive-Thru RPG. He didn't pay me to say any of that or whatever. I haven't talked to Mark since Gary Con way before COVID. So, but again, I met the guy, nice guy. He's really passionate about that Gangbusters game. For those of you that don't know, Gangbusters was produced in the 80s by TSR, and it was a 1920s role-playing adventure game. So you played you could either be like a gangster, like Al Capone type gangster, or whatever. And then you could also play like as an FBI agent, trying to crack down on them and all that. So I played it a little bit, and I actually have. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm not going to go through all this stuff right now, but I think I have at least one module for this that I bought. I think it's called, no, it's not Ballots and Bullets. That's Boot Hill. I forget what it's called. But anyway, we'll go through that at some point one day. And there you go. That's all I want to talk about on that subject, unless you guys have any questions about it. Let's see. It looks like it's just Bastille and Colin tonight. So, and Colin probably went to bed. Shit, I wouldn't bother Colin, or I wouldn't blame Colin for going to bed at 2 a.m. and where he is. So, of course, I haven't been sleeping much either. Once all the madness is over, I'm definitely finding a gaming group. Yeah, Colin, the thing that when I finally decided, I've got some time here. I'll tell this story real quick. So for those of you that follow a guy named Boogie2988 on YouTube, I've been following Boogie since he was, not from the very beginning, but shortly after he started. I think he might have had like 50,000 subscribers or something when I first started following him. Maybe not. No, I think he had 20,000. And there was one where he did a video about retro stuff, because he's not as old as I am. He might be pushing 50. I'm 55. And I think he might be pushing 50 now. But he did a thing about vintage gaming and stuff, and he talked about Pong and some of these other things that I, of course, knew well of and all this. And I was sitting, we owned a condo at that time, a different city down the road here, up the road, I should say. And our condo was, I had an office, but it was small. It was in a bedroom, and it was small. It wasn't even, you could probably fit 3 of them in this big basement here, And so it was pretty cramped and all that. And since I'd moved to Utah, I had no one to play D&D with, nothing at all. And, so I had resigned myself to the fact that I'm like, I think my D&D shit's just going to sit on the shelf for the rest of my life. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to play again. I had resigned myself to that. And then I saw that one where he was talking about vintage stuff and everything. And I said, well, what the hell? I go, and I don't think Boogie would take offense to this. And I would tell him this to his face. I said, well, if this guy can get 20,000 people watching him talking about gaming, and I looked back and I saw all my collection, and I go, sure, I should be able to do the same thing, right? I should be able to talk about my collection. If I pulled something out and talked about one item of video, it would take me years to get through my entire collection. I could just talk about that, So I did that. I went to Best Buy and I bought a damn camera, and I don't even know if I bought a mic. I think I just bought the camera because it had a mic built in. And I went home and I started making videos, and I've only got 1,400 subscribers, and I've been doing it for I don't know how many years. Of course, there's been some inconsistency on my part for different reasons, but now that I'm retired, I'm consistent. So because of that, because of me starting to do the videos, Jason Elliott, the one we just talked about, I get an email from his assistant one day saying, hey, Jason saw your video and he wants to know if you want to help work on Gygax magazine. And we've talked about that before. And I was like, what? What is Gygax? I didn't even know what Gygax magazine was or whatever. And Or no, I did. I somehow through my videos, somebody said you should check out Gygax magazine, and I went and I ordered one, and then I did a review, and that's when Jason's assistant called me and said, "Hey, he wants to know if you want help with it," you know. And I was like, "Holy shit, are you kidding me?" And that was all because I started my channel, and if I hadn't had the motivation from Boogie, I would have never started my channel. Now, as a result of that, I decided I think somebody even in one of my videos, they said something like, well, you need to check out meetup.org or something. I think it's meetup.org. It's meetup something if you want to get into a group. So I did. And I couldn't find a D&D group, but I did find a Pathfinder group. And it was not too far away. And I said, can I join the Pathfinder group? And they said, we have a slot. They said, show up at this address, bring a mini. What do you want to play? And I was like, I don't know, a dwarf ranger. They're like, bring a mini for a dwarf ranger. And I showed up there and we started playing. And then as part of that group, I met my buddy Brad, who plays in this group now. So we at one point we had two groups. We had the Pathfinder group and we had my group here, and we were doing two different groups. They were doing every other week, and we were doing every week here. But my point is, if it wasn't for Boogie 2988, I don't know if I would have done any of that shit. I don't know if I would have just and that even motivated me to get a bigger house. I was working part-time at the city, and I went to them and I said, hey, I need to be full-time. The job I'm doing part-time is not there. It needs a full-time person. And I'm that guy. And I fought for it and I got full-time. And that allowed us to buy this place. I don't think I would have done any of that if it wouldn't have been for Boogie 298. And that's a true story. I'm not trying to get likes from his, followers, or it's just facts. This is just facts that if I ever meet him somehow, some way at a gaming convention, if we ever end up doing that again after COVID, I will tell him that story. I'll say, Boogie, I need 5 minutes of your time, 10 minutes tops to tell you how, and I'll say, this is how you've affected my life. And the rest is history. So, anyway, so that's a long way of saying, when you said that you wanted to, after this madness is over, you want to find a gaming group. That's a long way of me saying meetup.org, I believe is what it is. I'm still a member. Doesn't cost anything. That's how I got into my first group. So, the group we have here, after I was doing the Pathfinder thing, there was a new gaming store, Gamers Inn, which I've talked about. They're the ones that always get me my pre-orders on the special editions. They had just opened in the city I was working in. And because I was in that Pathfinder group, I was like, well, I need to get some more minis and stuff. So I went in there and I just said, hey, you guys ever have any like regular groups that play here, whatever? And they're like, yeah, we have 5th edition groups that play, here every week. And I was like, do you know if any of them need players or whatever? And they're like, well, yeah, one of them is playing this Friday or whatever. And so I said, well, they said, just come by and, introduce yourself or whatever. So I did. And Jonathan, who sits right there, and you guys have seen him in here before in lives, Jonathan was DMing that group. And we were at that store. And, of course, we couldn't drink beer while we were playing. And you had to really watch your language because there's a lot of kids in the other tables and stuff like that. And I said, hey, guys, if you want, I have a gaming room at my house. If you right down the street, I go, if you guys want, we can game at my house. And the rest is history. So, and then we ended up, what's funny is that Amber, her name was Amber, that ran the Pathfinder group. She ended up, I had to drive like 15 minutes to get to her house to do Pathfinder group. She ended up buying a house 2 blocks from here. So when Amber moved there, we ended up doing both groups here. We did the Pathfinder group and the D&D group here because she was then my neighbor. You talk about weird. So yeah, that's why this table has seen a lot of gaming, a lot of gaming. So that's again, so meetup.org, I swear by it. And yeah, and like you said, here's the Boogie 298. Yeah, he's had controversy and shit over the years and everything else, but I've always stayed following him, um, just because of that. So I just remembered I did get to see a live tabletop game. I worked with a guy who played Space Marines, I think, and joined him one night at a games workshop. Oh, I don't know that I've never played Space Marines. It'd be interesting to look that up. Um, let's see here. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. I did miss something. Uh, I've always wanted to play Boot Hill. I have Boot Hill here. I have the box set. We'll go through it one day. Um, and I'll show you what I've got and all that. Um, I think I want to say Boot Hill was written by Mike Carr, and I've met Mike Carr twice at Gary Con. Let me look here. Um, and what's a cool story about that is that if it was, I'm pretty sure it was. Let's see here. No, designers were Gary Gygax, Brian Bloom, and Don Kay. I don't know why I was thinking. Oh, I know what it is. It's Dawn Patrol. Dawn Patrol was the one by Mike Carr did. But the story I was going to tell was that when we were there at the 50th anniversary of Gen Con, they were doing at Gary Con, they were doing a 50th anniversary Gen Con event honoring, because the horticultural hall is where the very first Gen Con was done. They were having an event there, and Steve Picorni, you guys know from Dwarven Forge, that crazy guy, and Steven's awesome. I met him twice now at Gary Con. That dude's a riot. And he wouldn't take any offense to me saying that crazy dude, because he is. I say that with all the love and respect I can, because that dude is wild. He parties his ass off. But we met him and Peter Atkinson and all these people, and Mike Carr was there, the guy that I was thinking did Boot Hill, but he did Dawn Patrol, I believe. He's also one of the original guys from the D&D team and all that. I was doing something. I was talking with some other people, some other old timers and all this stuff. And I turn around and my wife is having a conversation with Mike Carr. And I go over and I figured they're talking about, one of the games or something like that. They're talking about Wizard of Oz, because that's my wife's favorite movie. She's got her office is entirely decked out. Like this is here for gaming. Hers is like that, but it's all Wizard of Oz shit. And they were talking, because I guess that was one of his favorite movies. They were just having this whole conversation about Wizard of Oz. I thought that was kind of funny, because I'm like, of all things, I wouldn't have pegged, them to be talking about. It's like, but my wife is such a Wizard of Oz fan. She manages to get that into a conversation any way she can. So, so yeah, we're at 33 minutes. I got to cut this short here pretty soon here. Me and the wife were thinking about moving to Kanab, Utah. It is down by the border with Arizona. So Bastille, if I could offer some advice, I think that would be a better place to move than like St. George. St. George is way too overrun now, which is also down south by the Nevada border. Well, they've got Nevada and Arizona all right there. But Kanab is not as it's not a big tourist trap and all that stuff. I think that's a better move. I think you'd get a better deal on a house. I think that's a better move, Kanab. I wouldn't recommend moving up here where we are, up in the Salt Lake area, because it's ridiculous, the amount of expansion and people and construction and noise and just, yeah. I mean, I'm not unhappy, because the price of this house that we bought it for, it's worth at least twice what we paid for it. At least twice what we paid for it. So, and it's still going up. So, but there's a lot of, yeah. I have 2 Wizard of Oz RPGs. There's been 2 of them that have been produced. I have both of them, specifically because my wife is such a big fan, and I thought, well, if I can ever get her, she did play D&D back in like 20 years ago when we were in California with all of our friends and family back there. She actually played Clarice, which is the cleric NPC, or not cleric, the paladin. Sorry, the paladin NPC that's in my campaign here. That's an NPC, but that was my wife's player character when she played. So, but I thought, well, an Oz campaign, she would definitely do that. So at some point when she retires, that'll be a thing. And I've got both of them. I'll show them to you guys one day because they're buried right now. There's a full-size book one, and then there's a smaller book one. There's 2 of them, and they're not box sets, unfortunately. And then when we talked about Gamers Inn, so I knew the manager there at Gamers Inn, and she knew my wife because my wife would go in there and buy Christmas gifts and birthday gifts for me at Gamers Inn, and her name is Katrina. And Katrina, one day out of the blue, I went in there because I would always stop every Friday. I would stop at Gamers Inn just to see if they had any new stuff or whatever. And I'd go in there, and Katrina's like, "Hey, I got something for you." She goes, "I special ordered these. They weren't even going to carry them in the store." She goes, "I special ordered these for you if you want to buy them for your wife." I mean, smart move on her part. She knew I was going to, as soon as she said that, she knew I was going to buy them. She got me and I'll dig those out too when I do the other stuff. She got me a full set of minis for the Wizard of Oz RPG, and they are badass. They are some excellent minis. There's Dorothy the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, the Scarecrow, the Wicked Witch. I got the whole set. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. So there, now you guys know the history of Boogie 2988 with me, and then meetup.org and Pathfinder and Gamers Inn, and then starting gaming here with 2 different groups, and how Gamers Inn has always supported me. And excellent customer service. That's why I got a t-shirt of theirs. I need to wear it on live one day. I need to wear their t-shirt. Of course, my beard might cover up their logo. I don't know, but might be time to get a rubber band for this. What do you think? No, I think that looks stupid. Yeah. So yeah, I will make that a point to dig out all the Wizard of Oz RPG stuff. I wouldn't have even thought. Thanks for bringing that up, because I wouldn't have even thought about that as a show and tell type of a deal. So we'll do that at some point. All right, guys. We're going up to 40 minutes. I got to cut this one off. Got to go spend some time with the wife, and then start getting ready for the guy to come fix the fireplace tomorrow, which I wasn't expecting. And then still somehow figure out a way to prep and get everything ready for this marathon. So I'm going to be a busy dude. I was going to do part 3 of my Let's Play series with EverQuest 2, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that now, because I got to prep for this. I got 2 days of this, Friday and Saturday. My wife and I have something planned on Sunday, and then Monday will be a recap video from this marathon. When I'm going to do my next Let's Play, I don't know. I have no idea. So Sunday, yeah, you know what? Sunday, I won't be able to do my live. My wife and I have got something we got to do. I will not be able to do my live on Sunday. I need to put out a notice or something somehow on my channel thing there on the community tab or whatever. I will not be able to do my live on Sunday. I just realized that. My normal live. But Monday I will have to do my recap of the marathon session. So all that's going on, guys. It's a busy time. So, all right, guys, we'll catch you on the flip side.